Now streaming on Netflix is the directorial debut of actress Maggie Gyllenhaal. It is The Lost Daughter, written and directed, I should say, by Maggie Gyllenhaal, starring Olivia Coleman, who you may know from The Crown and a million other things, Ed Harris, and Dakota Johnson. I was going to say Dakota Fanning. It's not Dakota Fanning. It's Dakota Johnson, who you may know from many things as well. So this is on Netflix. It might have gotten a very, very subtle theatrical release, as some Netflix movies do, but it's primarily a straight-to-Netflix movie. And it tells the story of Olivia Coleman, who is a scholar to a degree, who's on vacation in an anonymous part of Greece, just looking to get away, having a working vacation. And her solitude and aloneness and quiet is interrupted by this large family who just shows up and is pretty obnoxious for the most part. And Dakota Johnson is the young, relatively recent, she's got a young daughter who's probably 3 or 4. And at one point the daughter is lost, and Olivia Coleman finds her, brings her back, but the daughter's doll that she fixates upon is also lost and nobody can find it. For some reason, Olivia Coleman has kept that, and as the film goes on, we sort of get further and further into Olivia Coleman's past and why she is who she is and why she is fixated on this doll and on this young mother. Boy, I didn't like this movie. This is a film that most people are raving about. I always get a little nervous when an actor directs, at least for the first time. Now, there's a lot of actors that are great directors. There's a lot of actors that arguably are better directors than they are actors. But I remember seeing this movie Paul Newman did when I was in college called Rachel, Rachel. And that sort of started this idea in my head. And I've seen other films that actors direct, and they just tend to be they're about acting, and they're about feelings. And they don't have a whole lot in the way of a story or forward momentum, which is how I felt about The Lost Daughter. When I think back about it, I'm telling you about it, and I'm like, I can concisely tell you what it's about. But while I was watching it, I was just very disconnected with it. Partly it's how it's shot. I am no fan, if you listen to me ramble much, of shaky camera or not extreme close-ups, but an overabundance of close-ups. I need a wide shot occasionally. Give me a wide shot to get a sense of where I am and where people are in relation to each other, and then you can go crazy with the close-ups. But this movie, I was joking with a friend, this movie is a study in the back of somebody's head occasionally in focus. There were more shots of the back of Olivia Coleman's head or like the side of a face. I could be cruel to you and I could shoot this review the way this movie looks, but I don't want to do that. Some of it's fine. But more often than not, it's close-up after close-up after close-up after close-up. And I'm just like, I feel claustrophobic. I'm like, back up. And I know sometimes filmmakers will do this to elicit a response from the viewer, to put you in the mind or the mood of the main characters. I don't need that. That's what scripting and acting is for. I was really annoyed and angered by how badly this was shot most of the time. This wavy camera and close-up, and the side of a face, or there's part of a cheek, or the out-of-focus earlobe. I'm like, what am I looking at? I kept wanting to pause it and go, that's a great shot, when it wasn't. A lot of flashbacks to Olivia Coleman's character. Part of the central issue in this movie is that she's this woman with 2 daughters that she is not connected to, because we find out she made a choice younger in life to be, if I want to be cruel, to be more selfish. And that resulted in a fractured relationship with her daughters. And she sees maybe the same thing playing out with the Dakota Johnson character, and how she is maybe not thrilled to be a mother, let's say. But just the cutting back and forth, I'm not going to belabor this point. To me, and again, most people think this is brilliant. To me, it just was dull and poorly shot and pretentious. I'm not going to say the actors weren't good, because they were. Ed Harris is in it. He's cool too. Ed Harris is in it. Coleman is fantastic. Johnson is good. Everybody in it is good. It's just, I couldn't. So your mileage may vary. I am told this much more is a film that will appeal to women, especially women who have gone through motherhood. Those are things that I obviously can't understand, not being a woman, though I have been called a mother on occasion. So, as I say, your mileage very well may vary. Again, as I often say, if you're looking at this on YouTube, tell me what you think underneath. A lot of times, comments on the YouTube versions of these reviews help me understand a movie better. People will give me additional information or their points of view, and that's cool. I just didn't like it. So, on Netflix now, I could call it The Lost 2 Hours, but it's called The Lost Daughter.